I do not to this day know what happened, but there was some fire, the starter that came out of nowhere. And I mean, we were just in an argument, just in a heated argument over the phone, mind you. And
I know what it was. Child support. You and that old crazy attorney of yours.
I wanna make you mine, yeah, yeah, yeah. Make you mine, yeah, yeah, yeah. Make you mine, yeah, yeah, yeah. Make you mine. I wanna make you mine. Put that shit in.
What's up, everybody? My name is Maurissa, and this is our wonderful, amazing co-host.
Sir J the DJ, what's good in the hood? What's happening?
And I'm sorry. Okay. And we are the production couple, and today we have some special guests with us. Very special. And the reason why they are so special is because they are my lovely parents. And they're also really special because they have been in the marriage game for a very long time. They have done it twice, might I add. So we'll hear about that a little bit later in the conversation. But without further ado, I'd love to introduce to you my parents. You guys want to introduce yourself? Hi, everybody. I'm Lekesha Nord.
And I'm Keith Nord.
Are we supposed to do some extra stuff? Okay. I mean,
I was expecting
aliens. They call me Keisha.
Pastor Nord. I'm the tell us what you do,
Yeah, how long y'all been? Okay, I'll help you guys out. Tell us what you do. How long have you guys been married? And what else?
Interesting fact about yourself.
Sounds like
On the spot.
I can think of many. No. Okay. Oh, let's see. Well, I am currently working at the city of Brentwood, California. And I am also currently working as an etiquette trainer for the School of Etiquette and Decorum, although that's been put on pause because of COVID. And I am also a pastor's wife. I am also a licensed evangelist within the Church of God in Christ. I am also a published author.
Come on now.
I am also a proud mother of 5.
I'm the first.
She's number one. She's number one. Yeah, she always number one. Let's see. And yeah, if I think of anything else. Oh, an interesting fact about me. I am a cat lover. I'm a cat lady. Yeah. I am. I'm the one that actually likes to watch those really quirky videos. I have a cat page that I subscribe to, and I'm proud of it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I would share with you my cup, my mug, but I can tell you what it says. Catch this. It says, "You have cat to be kitten me right meow." Get it? You gotta be kidding me right now. You cat to be kidding me right now.
On that note,
Thank you.
Well, my name is Keith Nord, and I'm definitely just overjoyed to be here to be a part of this. I currently serve as a servant leader, as a pastor with Revelation Ministries in Oakland. I am a husband, a father, a real estate appraiser, real estate broker, real estate investor. So I've got a lot of titles that I hold, but most of all, the most important title is just being a child of God. So this is me. I'm that guy.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for introducing yourselves. And
I feel like I need to get saved. I need to work on my intro.
oh my God.
I'm like, what's good in the hood? What's popping? Sir J the DJ. I'm a servant leader. Oh, okay. All right.
Cool. Well, like Sir J said before, we just really want this to be like a casual conversation. This is how we usually talk on our podcast and our videos and all of that. But more specifically, one thing that we wanted to dive into was just learning a little bit more about you all's relationships and how they have affected my relationship with my husband, being that I'm you guys' first. A lot of times that typically means that the first is kind of like the guinea pig, you know? Yeah. But in addition to that, just marriage in general. You guys have been in the game for how many years? 23. I know it's something around 23 years altogether?
Yes.
Okay. And that's a long time. And that's a goal that a lot of marriages would like to make, including us. So, babe, you want to?
Yeah, I was going to ask if y'all could just share the story of, because she mentioned y'all being married before, being apart, and then being remarried again. Just briefly tell the story of how that came to be to accumulate 23 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, back in I actually met Dad when I was 16. And coincidentally, he lived next door to me in Oakland by the Lake Merritt. And we met, and we had a brief period where we hung out for a little bit, and then
We kicked it.
then we stopped kicking it. So I'm waiting on him. I'm waiting on him to tell it.
I was like, the what?
Any other time when I start telling it, he be like, "Nah, that's because you dummy or you went back." So I was waiting for him to jump in and say. So basically, I ended up getting back with my then boyfriend, high school boyfriend at the time. And you guys are 2 years apart, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
you were
he's 2 years my
he was
senior.
18, going on 19?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Right.
Out
So
of high school?
Fresh out of high school, yeah. It was my first year out of high school. I had plans to come out to California, work one summer, get enough to get a car, and go back to Grambling. Had all my paperwork, everything, my acceptance letter, everything, and bam. She walked in the grocery store and I never made it back to college.
Oh my gosh. Wait a minute. Let's set the record straight.
Never made it back to college.
Go. You had intentions on going. It wasn't because of me. You was in California, way in California, making money.
I was supposed to work to get a car, and I was supposed to head back. And so I got the car, I got my mini truck, everything was in place, and bam.
Yeah, no.
You walked in.
Where? What's that?
Grambling in Louisiana. Yeah, man, I was headed to the drum line. That was my. That's why I'm so fascinated over that movie. Me and Alondra was watching it yesterday.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to relive. No, but it, it was one of those. I guess you could say love at first sight. I don't know, but I was back then. It was a old song by LL Cool J called "Round the Way Girl," and I was just like always fascinated, just about that video.
Yeah.
Just having a nice little cute round the way girl, got a little attitude about her, you know, and I was like, this is her, this is the one, and
Because I was different. I was.
yeah, she was different, and she because I had dated a little bit
In California.
in California.
Mm-hmm.
I had dated a little bit, and I noticed she was a lot more intelligent in regards to mannerism.
Yeah.
You know, versus hood.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't do hood. I would take girls out, they would embarrass me in the restaurant. You know, I don't want this food. You know, all that loud stuff.
Y'all got
and I
scripts.
ain't with that. Yeah, exactly. I ain't with that. But she was very, and to be so young, because she was only like 16.
Yeah.
But she was
2 years. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, very. We're 2 years apart too, so that's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
And I met you when I was 17. Technically.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So in a nutshell, we met very young, and shortly after that, after I had gotten back with my boyfriend at the time. We broke up, and I remember connecting back with Dad. I remember asking him if he would attend my senior prom. He told me no. He told me no.
Like just out of blue?
Because he knew too many people.
Or like y'all had been still...
Well, we still, talked every now and then. We weren't, kicking it, but we still talked.
Because he lived next door.
Right.
Right?
Right. And so I called him up, just like, hey, would you like to go to my prom with me? And he was like, no, I don't know too many people. I was like, okay. So shortly after that, it was somewhere around my graduation, right before I graduated high school. We hooked back up, and ever since then, it was just, we were just connected ever since then. So the summer of 1992, we were together pretty much every single day. I was spending more and more time with them. And then by that time, I think you had gotten your own place, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, which was, down the hill from where we were staying. And I was just over there all the time. And it amazes me. I wish my dad was still here so that I can ask him, Dad, why? How could you let me just go like that? But, I guess he trusted me, and he trusted Keith or Dad. So, me just being with them all the time, every day, all day. And then the days started turning into nights. Kids don't try this at home, but started spending the night and
Sneaking.
No, I don't remember sneaking.
Yeah, you told Grandpa you was at somebody's.
At 18?
Before we got engaged.
We got engaged when I was 18.
Right.
So how long was it from the point where you guys, I guess, officially became boyfriend and girlfriend, or were in a serious relationship, to engagement? How long was that? May, June, July.
Oh, it was less than a year?
October, November, December, about 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
It got real serious. Yeah, it got real. Yeah.
I know. It's so similar.
We was kicking it tough.
Okay.
Yeah, we was.
So, okay. Who did you guys talk about marriage during that time, or were you thinking about it at some point? Did she pressure you into proposing?
I don't.
I'm gonna make you love me. Because that's really young.
I think if I can remember correctly, I just think I was like, you know what, I want to lock this down.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was more like, let me grab this, because she was definitely the prettiest girl I've ever had, and everything was right there. I said, let me do this and do this right. And so she was all I wanted. So I proposed that Christmas Eve.
Wow.
Christmas Eve?
Christmas Eve. Yep. Christmas Eve.
Oh, that's going to be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And I've always been family oriented. Uncle Mo will tell you. I've always said that I wanted 5 kids. I don't remember that, but I've always been family oriented and just was like always in the mind to want to have a family kind of thing. So, yeah, at the thought of marriage, it didn't scare me or anything. It was just like, oh, okay, not knowing, what it entailed. Yes, not knowing that, having a clue. Yeah. Did you have somewhat of a clue? Because that was going to be my question for you, Daddy, is that I don't think you grew up in a 2-parent household, right?
I had Grandma Reese was married to my stepfather.
Okay.
But that wasn't a healthy.
Yeah, like you didn't have healthy relationships growing up.
No, not growing up.
Okay. Okay.
No. Yeah.
So did you always want a family or at least desire marriage as well?
Yeah, by the inspiration of Bill Cosby. I was a Cosby Show fan and fanatic, and I just always wanted, and I would say I'm going to have a pretty wife and 5 kids. Way back then.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's amazing.
5 kids.
Exactly.
Probably wasn't in the way that y'all intended it, I'm sure.
But even how I managed my household because I would always look at Bill Cosby, how if you notice there was a lot of comedy in the house. Every now and then they would have serious moments.
Yeah.
And I kind of governed my household the same way where, we're always laughing or I'm doing something silly to mess with mommy or just keep a light, just atmosphere all the time. Yeah. And so that's kind of where I just got it from watching episode after episode of The Cosby Show. Mm-hmm. And little did I know that it was influencing my perception of the ideal family I would want to bring about. So when I saw her, I was like, well, that's piece number one. I'm going to start with that. But, like I say, with no spiritual knowledge or background or nothing like that, it was just pure, we really got close during those 6 months. And just some of the stuff we started experiencing, one of my exes had my car towed. So we kind of went through that together. And then I got a hoopty and, she was like in love with that ugly car and would just drive it around. I mean, that thing was ugly.
What kind of car was it?
It was a 1977 Datsun.
Yeah. The hatchback.
Was it green or
green? Yeah. And looked like the back had cancer
one of them
or
long
something.
shafts, the manual sticks.
Yeah.
Had the fur on the inside. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So we started experiencing life, and
we ended up moving in together. We got our first place. Mm-hmm. And then
this is different from your first place,
right? So he had his first apartment, and then from there, we decided, because at that point we became engaged in December, and so from there it was like, I'm always over your house anyway, so let's just get an apartment together. And
it's so interesting to see how, like, because you guys weren't saved or anything, y'all didn't have any spiritual background, so it's interesting to hear you guys' mentality towards things at the time.
And now as she was talking, going through that actually caused us to get closer. Yeah. Going through just that whole thing together. Yeah. It drew us closer, because, as you start experiencing personal experiences together, it builds an intimacy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think going through that together, it brought us closer. Mm-hmm. It actually created a bond. Right. Now that I look back, so
would you say that created a sense of security in him, or like you felt like he was a safe place for you because of how supportive that was in that time, and he was like there with you throughout?
Yeah.
So many people are like, deal with that.
Right. I would definitely agree to that.
You were explaining the security that him being with you in that moment provided. That was before y'all got married. So how did the process from engagement to getting married look for y'all?
I would say, well, one, for being 18, so young, and having the freedom, just feeling more adultish, I guess you could say, and just being more motivated to work towards, family, work towards building a family and a life together, and being serious about my relationship is how I pretty much looked at it. I didn't do a whole lot of dating and just wasn't out there like that. But the few people that I did date, I wasn't thinking about, settling down and, getting married and having kids and living together. I wasn't thinking about all of that with nobody else, but it was just something about my relationship with Dad. It was just different. I can't even really explain it. It was just different. I don't know. Perhaps him not being from here made a difference. Him being, a Southern boy, maybe that made a difference. Yeah, I think that did. I think that did make a huge difference because for him, just being from the South, just he didn't have the same mentality as a lot of the people that I knew had. His ethics were different. His work ethic, different. You know, as long as I've known him, he's been a hard working man. When I met him, I think he had 2 jobs already.
What were you doing?
Dry cleaning and working at the grocery store as a courtesy clerk.
And, you know, not that I was into all that. Oh, my man got 2 jobs. I wasn't even into all that. It was just like, oh, he works. My dad works. So why wouldn't, you know, why would I think of anyone to do any less? You know, my dad works. He works. Yeah. Great.
You mentioned your dad and him. Did you see a lot of similarities in dad to your dad? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Not really. Because I know, you know, a lot of people say that women are drawn more to men, you know, by the same traits or characteristics of their dads. Not really. As far as being, you know, hard worker, family man, yes, but not any character traits.
Initially or just period? Different. Like even now, you don't feel like you see a lot of things from your father that you've experienced in your marriage?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. That's a hard question because I guess not. Not. No, they're different.
Cool.
They're different.
So y'all are engaged for 7 months?
Roughly, yeah.
Roughly 7 months. Y'all get married. Did y'all experience
No,
any?
we was engaged longer than that.
Oh, I thought you meant from the time that we hung out. I'm sorry. So yeah, we were engaged over a year for like a year.
Oh, really?
Almost a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so y'all had Maurissa in that time?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so that answered my question. Because I asked what was it like during the engagement period. Obviously, great. Y'all had a child. But,
a lot happened during that engagement. We had, we moved in together. We had a child. We moved from our tiny apartment to a rental home. And we had, to a rental home. And then from there, that's when we got married. We had a small impromptu wedding.
Okay. So it sounds like there wasn't any rush to get married.
Yeah, because for us being so young during that time, we were actually doing pretty good, you know, to be able to, especially when we moved, we had a house, you know, so we were doing it. We were doing the family thing, and we were super young, especially compared to most of our peers and family, you know, so we were doing it and we were young. And so that was like just a motivating thing for me, like, oh, we doing this, you know, and had a nice little quality of life, you know. Big screen TV, all that stuff, fish tank, you know, leather furniture, you know.
Y'all had all the black porcelain furniture and stuff in there?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, nothing screen 90s.
Sure did.
With the glass top.
Come on.
Nothing screen TT. I was like,
Yes.
Come on.
That is funny.
So it was more. It was and me being a country boy. I used to come out here every summer and work in the cleaners, but I would see my brothers, you know, in their apartments and in their cars, and you know, so it's like, man, I'm doing this, you know. So that's why we were like, okay, we've arrived.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
So we really wasn't thinking about actually marriage because we were doing it. And it was grandma that actually brought it up and was like, when y'all getting married?
Yeah. Grandma Brown.
Wow.
Oh, Grandma Brown.
OG Grandma Brown. I love Grandma Brown.
Mama Dear. That's my great grandmother. Yeah. They just started asking questions like, when you guys get married? You guys gonna get married? And to be honest, you know, just looking back in retrospect, I wasn't even thinking about it. Like Dad said, it was cool. Like, right. you know.
Okay.
But until one day at a family gathering at Grandma Brown's house, you know, all the family was there, uncles, cousins, aunties, and everybody was like, when do you guys get married? And we were like, I don't know. And they just kept talking and talking. We were like, well, you want to get married this weekend? And I was like, yeah, okay, let's do it. So I
Y'all
think
were
it was
engaged
like,
at that point.
Yeah,
He's
we were
asking,
engaged.
wow.
Yeah.
And so, but y'all like just never set a date.
Right. We were engaged and already had Maurissa. She was over a year old.
Wow.
Yeah, living together in a house. And then they just asked questions. We were like, okay, well, you want to get married this weekend? Okay.
Okay, so I have a question now. Do you feel like after you guys got married, it's approved by the state, you got the rings, the official title, do you feel like that altered you all's relationship in any way after that? Or was it pretty much the same and, you know, life just kind of started happening on its own and, you know, things just started to head downhill? Do you feel like the title had anything to do with it, or the fact that you guys are officially legally married?
Absolutely. Absolutely. For me, I just felt like, well, of course, initially you're, you know, living in the bliss and the happy, oh, we're married now. But then afterwards, reality sets in, or for me, it did. Reality set in. And then it's just like, oh, expectations. You know, and we were so young.
Your expectations of him or his of you?
Both. We both had these expectations, and a lot of them, looking back in retrospect, a lot of them were unrealistic, you know, and we were young. We were, you know, just young and immature in that area. So for me, yeah, it did change because it was like, wait, okay, wife. You know, wife duties. What do you mean wife duties? Well, I've been doing this and now you want me to do this. So for me, it was different. It was very challenging.
What about for you, Daddy?
Being totally 100% honest, because we didn't understand the spiritual aspect of what we were doing or the significance. But from a natural sense, it was more like, okay, now you my wife. Because all the other stuff we've been doing, like sex and having kids and all of that and paying bills and joint accounts, you know. So it was more of like, okay, we did it. So
checkbox.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like a checkbox. And
do you feel like, to what she was saying, you had different expectations now that she was your wife, or different expectations for yourself even?
I can't remember if it changed, because like I say, we were doing everything already.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I can't think of like, okay, you my wife, so now you need to do this. I can't remember.
Oh, Mama can.
You know,
Mama was like, Ashley, on August 13th.
But it, you know, it was, then it was like, you know, the fun part of I get to call you my wife, or getting used to saying my wife and all of that stuff. But really understanding what it meant or what I'm supposed to do now, I had no knowledge of that, because neither one of us really had any examples. I can't think of not one influence that I had of, you know, marriage that I could look at and say, oh, that's what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah. So we were just kind of figuring it out.
Wow. So how did arguments go for you guys? Like, just bad. Okay, like, did you guys have tactics or practical, like, methods of, what's something we learned in counseling? Listener speaker thing, where you have to, like, repeat what the person just said to ensure that you heard them.
You want to know what our method was? Bleep, 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 bleep. You.
I believe it.
I can't believe it either.
I believe it. It'd be the nicest people be like, ooh, your PC days was BC days. She would let them fly.
Wow. She wasn't no first lady then.
No. No, and I wasn't like ratchet, like excessively, but when I said it, I meant it. So, yeah, we had no method. It was just like you say what you feel. And unfortunately, you know, a lot of things were led by our feelings and our emotions. And, you know, that wasn't the healthiest thing in the world, just to say what you feel. So, yeah, we didn't have no method. It was just, well, this is it. That's it. Yeah.
Wow.
No method.
Okay.
So jumping into y'all are married, then y'all split. How did that come to be? Was that what I mean? More specific to kind of dial in on that question. Was that one of those things just kind of continued to fester, or like there was this big occasion that was like, I'm out?
Both.
Kind of really?
Yeah, it was both. Yeah, it was both. It was, gosh, I think, to be honest, I think we just lost respect for one another. And, you know, that caused us to just act out in different ways inside and outside of our marriage. And it just caused a lot of distrust. And, you know, that just grew us apart. We were living together, still married, but we were just growing apart. And until one day it just came, you know, to a head, and, you know, we would argue, we would try, we would stop, we try, we'd argue again, we stop, we try to make up. And we did that so many times, you know, that it gets tiring. You get wore out, you get weird, you just, you know, be like, you're not motivated. Then, you know, your mind starts to think about what it's like on the other side, you know, the green grass and all that stuff. So, you know, eventually we just grew apart. And the one time that we split, it just lasted, you know, because I think I might have left maybe twice. You know, I remember one time specifically in particular, I had just went to my dad's. I went to grandpa's with the intention of just going for a few days, because it was just like, I just need a break. You know, I'm not saying, you know, I'm done or it's over. I just need a break. I'm going to my dad's. I'll be back. Don't ask me when. I'll just be back. And so it was just for a few days. And then besides that, grandpa was like, when you going back home? It's like, you need to go back home. Yeah. It's like, yeah. Okay.
But like that was never, or at least in those two instances, those were like, I just need a break. It wasn't like, I'm leaving you, kind of storm out the house.
Well, that one was, I just need a break. But then the next time I took the cat. And that was like,
take the cat.
I took the cat, and it was like,
fam, the fact that that's the signal. Damn it. Oh.
It was Pebbles.
Pebbles.
Yep. It was Pebbles. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. As I look back, I can honestly say from my perspective, I think after we had Montel, I think I was, 22?
23.
23. So at that point, I mean, just for me as a man, right, I felt I had, I think I got on with the garbage company, and I finally got to making some decent money back then. And I had felt that I was just getting established, but I began to long for some of the things that I felt we missed out as because we got married so young. You know, just being that young bachelor, going to the club and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. I started, when things would get bad, I would really miss it, you know, or I would really long to be single.
Yeah, because
You know,
you
like-
hadn't really experienced that as an adult.
As an adult,
Okay.
right? Exactly.
You
Yeah.
either that? You said you dated a little bit in California, but not like.
He
in
was
terms
like fresh out of college or high school.
High school, fresh out of high school.
of,
Yeah.
so just like the nightlife experience and all of that.
Yes, as an adult, 21.
Yes.
You know, yeah. So, so that started being a temptation for me, especially when things got rocky between us, and I think from there, because my mental capacity was constantly going in other places, it caused our relationship to kind of, get rocky. And then I think some family stuff happened. Grandma had moved in with us, and she had,
The first time.
Yeah.
Oh, my mom.
yeah.
Yeah.
Grandma moved in with us, and my brother moved in with us for a minute. And Grandma was sleeping on the couch, and she was going through what she was going through. And, me being so young, I think it was supposed to be only a month, but it turned into like 6 months or something like that. And, I started getting irritated, about it. And it was just, I couldn't take it.
And it wasn't that she was a bad person or a bad tenant. Because Grandma, when she lived with us, she was a great help. We was coming home, remember, she was cooking a whole Sunday dinner, Tuesday through Friday.
And watching the kids.
And watching the kids. So, yeah, but it was just, I guess maybe for you, was it like more like an invasion of your space?
Yeah, because it was really, we really had no room for her. It's like she didn't have no, I think she was sleeping in the living room on the couch.
Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe in the den. I think it was the den. One of the two.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Because we were only living and we were in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath home.
Yeah.
Very small.
Yeah, so that was, starting to weigh on us. And I can understand her perspective. She want to be a help to her mom. And I was like, okay, this is enough. I can't take this no more. Yeah. And I think I had talked to Grandma and asked her to leave or something like that.
Wow. No, you had a family member serve her an eviction notice.
Did I? Yeah, I don't even remember that.
Oh, man.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I don't remember that. I remember talking to her about it. But anyway, so kind of after all of that, I think our relationship really went downhill from there. And that was like the beginning of just the decline. Right. And then other stuff started happening, on both ends in regards to us looking on the other side or dealing with people outside of our marriage that brought the ultimate decline. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So all of these things happen, these occurrences happen, you have this kind of like downward spiral. Y'all split. How long was that split?
5 years.
5. So 5 years passes. I'm sure plenty has happened over the course of 5 years. What was that time?
Yeah, like I've always wanted to know, what was your mentality after it was official? Was it like, yes, I'm single, let me go and like... Well, he was already in that mentality. Okay. Yeah. For me, it was devastating. Yeah.
It was twofold. Because, one, it was therapeutic because of what we went through. It hurt me, but it was therapeutic being single because I had fun. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah.
I can even recall.
I lived it up.
Lived the best of life.
I lived it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And then I was just being single. Yeah. Being single, but with a little knowledge now, And so
how much of that time was spent, 5 years, how much of that time was actually spent thinking about each other? Was at that cut point kind of like forget him or her and I'm gonna go on and live my life, and then at year 4.5, 5, it was like, Keisha, you know what I mean? Or was it like
both of you guys had 2 kids, so y'all had to see each other.
Yeah, we had to interact. So it, I would say it took me a year to get her out of my system in that way. To be able to just respect her as my mother. And I think that's probably why I was going from different women, getting her out of my system or using that as a, method to just get over her in that way. So I would say it took me about a year, to where I could just be around her and not, I can't stand you, and really be cool. Because I think, what was that barbecue we went to together when I was playing the drum and you were dancing to my beats?
Is
that a drum line?
No, we was she had started taking African dance. And I don't know how we ended up at the same barbecue. I don't know. How did we both end up?
I want to say it was a family member or mutual friend. I want to say it was either a family member or a mutual friend that hosted a barbecue at a barbecue picnic. And for whatever reason, he offered to drive me or, pick me up and we ride together.
No, I took you home.
Oh, you took me home. Okay.
Yeah.
How did I get there? I don't know. But we ended up at the same picnic and, just fooling around. Were they really drums?
The bongos.
They were some bongos. And, I'll hear the African, and me, that's just my character. I'm just going to be like, that's us.
You sure was shaking in front of me pretty tight.
That's because I wasn't out your system. I was just doing my routine because you had the African dance, the drums.
But that was your ex-husband /
I promise you. It
do not believe it. I know her. I do not believe that you were like, oh, Keith's here. Okay, well, whatever. Like,
come on.
You was there like,
and then end up riding home with me. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, come on.
No, on that part, yeah. Now, the dancing thing, no, that was just me being silly. But on the real, me agreeing to let him take me home, that was just like, okay, is this gonna, in my mind, I'm thinking, is this gonna be the get back, the bounce back, or we gonna try and work things out? That's what's going through my head. And, I was open to it,
How long after
if
the
things
split
had
was this
changed.
again?
I honestly don't know. This was 90. It wasn't long. It was within a year or two, within the first 2 years. Because I was taking those classes at Laney.
You're my daughter.
I do too.
Yeah.
Okay, I got her. It had to be within the first 2 years of us splitting up.
Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't that long after. But for me, like I said, initially I was devastated because for me, I've always had such a strong desire to just finish, get married and stay married because I've had so many broken marriages in my family, with the exception of one, Uncle Ricky and Auntie Sue. Big ups to them because they've been knowing each other, been dating since they were both 14 and they still married, going strong. So that was my positive influence. They're like second parents to me. But everybody else, I didn't have nobody, And so my idea was, okay, I want to stay married. I do not want this. But it was just so much stuff that just happened. And it was just like, I can't do this anymore. I honestly just can't do this anymore. So I'm done, And that last time when I said I was done, I was done. Because, we had, like I said,
it was best. It was best because too much had transpired to try and fix that. It would have never been right. At least I know with me, it wouldn't have been right. It was just too much. So that was the best thing for us at that time.
So going into the marriage for the second time around after the 5 years, what was something that you guys were determined to either make right, or what's the lesson that you learned that you were eager to implement the second time around?
I'm sorry. I gotta restart the camera.
Oh. So going into your marriage for the second time after the 5-year break, what was something that you guys were looking forward to implementing the second time around, whether that was because you learned a lesson from the first time, or you just want to experience something the right way? What was something for you guys? What was that?
I would say, to be honest with you, it really felt new. It honestly, and it was crazy. That was the craziest thing. Is like, one, it happened so fast.
Yeah.
But when it did, it was like, I done met this hot chick and we about to, it was really new. So it was like nothing from the past, was like, I was trying to, let me get this right. I'm not going to do this time or that time.
Yeah.
It really was like a new beginning. And what made it different this time is we both had found a relationship with God in our own way. And so that's what made it different.
I like how you said that, in our own way. I like that.
Why is that significant? I missed it.
No, that's because our introduction to a relationship with Christ came just differently. Mine, I was really drawn, in, and just kind of got snatched in by the Lord, but he had to work his way. Yeah, he had to work his way through.
My sanctification process was took a little longer,
It's all right. You got it.
But I was in there. Yeah.
Okay, so what about you, Mommy? I agree with that. It was totally new. And I think, to be honest with you, on a spiritual note, God had dealt with me prior to our dealings together. Now, at this point, 5 years had passed, and it was you and Montel's first day of school. Mm-hmm. And our tradition was, because we co-parented, we had this crazy schedule. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. Because both of us really love our children, and neither one of us were willing to, say, okay, well, you can have them for a week. No, I'm going to have my kids. Yes. Weeks Monday and weekends. Yeah. So it was every other weekend, but then during the week, it was like Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It was crazy. Yeah. So anyway, first day of school for you guys. We, as we normally did, co-parent, we both arrived for the first day of school. And, we, at the end of, we take y'all to class, and then we, walking out or whatever. And everything seemed fine. Everything was fine. I do not to this day know what happened, but there was some fire, the starter that came out of nowhere. And we were just in an argument, just in a heated argument over the phone, mind you. And
I know what it was. Child support. You and that old crazy attorney of yours.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Oh, we're not even going to talk about child support, because child support, whatever he was doing, I'm going to just tell y'all.
That was God.
Don't you put that on God.
He knew I was a good father.
Don't you put that on God.
I had to pay $200
No, it wasn't. It was $136 for 2 children once a month. Oh.
Because I had them half the time.
No. 2 kids? Come on now. Not in California, not in Alameda County. Come on.
She's about that money. You see that?
No.
You see it coming out?
It ain't even
You
about
see it
the
coming?
money.
It's about the money. That's why God
principle.
didn't let it happen.
It's the principle.
Whose principle?
It's the principle. Based on all the other cases that we are usually aware of, that's usually just not how it goes. I wasn't about the money. I was working full time. So I wasn't even tripping off of that. But I'm just saying, it's like, well, how come I can't get what everybody else get? I got to be poor in a poorhouse to
But
be
you
getting
ain't
what
about the
everybody
money.
else
You
getting?
just said it ain't
I
about the
know.
money.
But why is it that it's because you did something?
I got
know you
favor.
did something. I know you did something. Anyway, we had this argument, I guess, about child support. I don't recall, but nevertheless, it got so heated. It was just like, well, I'm calling my lawyer. Fine. Okay, call your lawyer. I'm going to call my lawyer. So we were both getting lawyered up. And a few hours.
No, you had already. You had filed again.
That was what had caused the argument. I'm saying.
Yeah, because you had tried to file again. But this time, I had started doing appraisals. And I knew I was making a whole lot more money. A lot more money. And so the manager at the appraisal office, she called me in. She said, Keith, I got this paperwork.
Read your paperwork.
From this attorney. And won't.
She rigged his paperwork. She rigged
Won't they
his
get won't.
We ain't gonna say no names because we ain't trying to incriminate nobody. See that's what I was saying. Yeah. That's what I was saying. Okay. I'm not about the money. It's the principle and what they were doing behind the scenes. Okay. That was not okay. Okay. That's all I'm saying.
I was a good father.
You were a very good father.
The big argument happened.
The big argument happened. We were both lawyered up. Fine, call your lawyer. And then not long after that, like a couple of hours later, I get a phone call from Dad. And he's like, okay, can we meet and talk? And the first thing that goes through my head is, are you crazy? No, I don't want to meet with you. You just got through saying all this stuff. No. So he was like, well, can we meet? Let me take you out to dinner. And I was really like, how you just gonna go from here to here? And then I'm thinking, okay, what are we gonna talk about? Okay. So I said, all right. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, it's gonna definitely be in a public place. Because I ain't going over your house, you trying to kill me. No. So I was like, okay, well, where? He said Tony Roma's in Jack London Square.
I
right?
remember that day
Tony
too.
Roma's.
It's like, because it was the first time in a very long time both of my parents were together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I only
always
know about
thought it
Tony
was-
Roma's from Barbershop, the movie. Tony
I
Roma
knew
doesn't
it
boil
was
his
across the
ribs.
street from TGIF.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And
Yeah.
so we agreed to meet after I got off work and after I told him I had to pick up Derek because at the time Derek was only a few months old. And I agreed to meet him, and it was his day with you guys, you and Montel. And so we agreed to meet. And when I get there, I'm just like,
ready to go.
I remember
to be honest, we had gone through these motions so many times before. We have an argument and then we try to work things out, try to talk it out. And then it turns into another argument. We had gone through so many times before. And so I was a lightweight defensive already. I had my guard up and it was just like, okay, I'll listen to you, but okay, well, whatever we're going to talk about is going to be in a public place. We got our kids, so it's not going to get too crazy, right? So we get in and, it was weird because like you said, it was the first time that we had been together like that, just us, a nuclear family in so long. And so we get in, starts talking, he's coloring with the kids as he normally does. And it's just like, okay, I'm just waiting. So I think I finally asked him, okay, so, what are we here for? What we want to talk about? And then he starts off and he goes, I want you to be in my life. And I was like, I wasn't expecting that. You just straight to the punch. And I was like, okay. And then he goes on and on. He's telling me how he wants me to be in his life. And, you know, he's been thinking, doing some whatever. He tells me about the house, more about the house. I knew at the time that he had just purchased or went into, were you in contract yet?
The new construction.
New construction, a home being built out here in Contra Costa. And so he's talking about all of this stuff and how he wants me to be a part of his life. He wants me to be in it. I was like, okay. Now, mind you, like I said earlier, God had already started dealing with me and had spoken to me, you know, personally and through my first lady at the time. And I was just like, and I had prayed a specific prayer just days before. I prayed a specific prayer and asked God, I said, okay, God, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm ready to have my own. Because at the time I was living with my dad, grandpa in an apartment, but the apartment where we live, the parking was horrible. And there were so many nights where I would come home, have to double park my car outside because there were no parks, leave my car double parked outside, come upstairs in the house, get the kids, cook dinner, get the kids, bathe the kids, put them to bed, and then go down there, get downstairs at sometimes 10, 11 o'clock at night trying to find a park.
Wow.
Right? So I was like, God, I'm tired of doing this and I want my own. And at the time I was already set up through a company called NACA, a program called NACA, to purchase my own home. So I already had my down payment and everything. I had my furniture all paid for, some of it paid for, dishes and everything was stacked by the door. I just needed to find the right place. And so I told God, you know, specifically, I'm tired. I want a house. I want a driveway. I want a garage. I want this, this, and this, and this. And so after talking to Dad, I just turned, when he was talking to me, I literally turned my face, Dad is here, or Dad is here. And I did like this. I said, God, you cannot be serious. Him? I just felt like everything that I had just prayed for and everything that God was dealing with me and everything that God had spoken to me, he was saying. And it was like, are you serious? Him? So that's how it started back up. And I heard him out and I was like, okay, well, let's, you know, continue talking about this. Let's take some time to talk about it. So we did. And then a few days passed by. We started calling each other, and that was the brand new part. You know, I remember being on the phone with Dad, like into the wee hours, just talking about stuff, you know, and even some of the stuff was talking about some of our past experience or our experiences during our separation. And there was no anger. There was no heated argument. It was just like we were listening, trying to catch up kind of thing. Yeah. Friends just trying to catch up.
Yeah. Now you got to remember, is pregnant with Alexis.
Yeah.
Wow.
During this time. Yeah. And Derek was not too long born. So all of this was brewing. Yeah. And I literally just kind of broke up with her. And I was in this space, I'm not going to say tired.
She in all the other episodes. Might as well come on in here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, she was asleep?
She was, and it's too little girl.
I'll take her. Hey, Daddy Turtle. See what y'all in here doing? So y'all gonna go and shoot without me, huh?
I know.
Yeah, y'all know better than this. Put me in the camera frame. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, grandma, baby.
Hey.
So everybody got their phones out for me, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Okay. I'm trying to wrap it up. Yeah.
Well, you were explaining, and I definitely want to hear a little bit more about how you came to the point of asking Mama to be in your life again. Because, like you said, you had a baby on the way by someone else. Yeah. She just had a baby by someone else, and
yeah, 2 kids.
And you said you had like recently broken up with the mother of your child that was on the way.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Who was supposed to move in this new house.
Wow.
Yeah, we were supposed to do this. Got a new baby. We're gonna do this. And just at the last minute, something just came up on me, and I was like, I can't do it.
Because that's just the kind of guy he is.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying earlier. When stuff like that happens, he's committed to it. So, if he has a baby on the way, he gonna do what he needs to do to provide.
Yeah. So I just, I broke it off with her. Well, I didn't break it off. Well, I did break it off. I said, look, we're going to have this baby. I promise you, this baby going to be taken care of. And you ain't got to worry about nothing. But I just can't be with you, And so we just broke it off. So she's going through what she's going through. But then I'm like in this place. So then I try and go back to one of my exes that I was talking to during that 5-year period that we were kind of getting, and that didn't fly.
I'm so grateful.
Yeah, that didn't fly. And so I was like in this space where I really said, man, I'm done. I ain't talking to nobody. I'm cool. And that's when all of this happened. Yeah. And but it felt so genuine. It felt good, especially after the conversation. And we, like you say, I'm picking her up from work. I think you had a birthday, right?
I did.
Yeah, she had a birthday.
He
and
proposed on my birthday.
Again? Yeah. Yeah, so, it really felt good. So, and 30 days later, we were married.
Yeah.
With a full-blown wedding. And it just amazing how everything I'm talking about in 30 days, having a venue. I remember the lady saying, you're not going to believe this. We booked the whole year except that one day.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Same thing with the photographer.
Yeah.
Availability, just right time, right place with everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
And
is
I
crazy.
think for me, what sealed the deal was he had invited me out to Antioch to take a look at the house. And because I hadn't seen it or anything, I just knew about it. And so when he brought me, when I walked in, I kid you not, as God is my witness, when I walked into that unfinished living room or family room, I just felt so much peace. And
sitting on the floor.
yeah, I just felt like,
Yeah.
man, I just felt, and all I felt was, this is it. This is it. This is your home. And I was like, wow, okay. So I didn't say anything. We finished looking around or whatever, and then we came back home. And that day, did it happen? Did the cross between you and happen when you picked me up or when you dropped me off?
When he dropped you off.
When we came back from Antioch?
I remember.
Okay, so yeah.
After he didn't say a word. Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh wait,
No,
that might
it
have
was
been
when
a
he
different day.
picked me up.
Yeah.
It was
that might have been a
it was
different
I was getting ready. That's right. So that day that we had gone to visit the house was the day that Derek's dad was supposed to come visit, his weekly visits or whatever. And I had to hurry up. Because I had made arrangements to go with Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
So anyhow, they crossed paths. I wasn't worried about that because me and, Derek's dad wasn't together. But yeah, it was just weird, really awkward. It was just awkward. So, what sealed the deal for me was when we came back from Antioch. We were out in front talking and we were getting ready to say goodbye and we came in for a hug. And at that moment, and I don't mean to sound all cliche-ish, but when I hugged Dad, I literally remember exhaling just, and it was just like, okay. And I just felt like everything that we had been through was in the past. It was over. And I just felt like, you could trust him again. And I just felt safe with them. And what's wrong with grandma, baby? Huh? Sleep. I felt safe with them. And did we kiss?
I remember y'all kissing.
I think we did. We did just a TV kiss. Yeah, you was watching everything.
Very observant. Yes.
But Maurissa wasn't, she didn't seem too happy at first.
I wasn't, but for selfish reasons. I remember thinking, man, I'm not going to get 2 sets of gifts, girl, anymore.
Talk about
and
selfish.
I think the attention aspect, now that I'm thinking about it in hindsight, it was shifted on just y'all two now. Like, I guess I might have felt like we don't matter as much anymore because, you know, everything is like around you guys. And, you know, I think the wedding in itself was like, I just didn't grasp the concept of a wedding in general. I just noticed that both of my parents, who were, as far as I can remember, you guys have been separated. Sorry.
Yeah.
You guys split when I was 4 or 5. So all of my memory is of you two being separated. And so to see you guys come together so quickly and not much is explained to me, it's, hey, me and your mom are going to get back together and we're moving into a new house. And so I'm going through culture shock, moving from Oakland to Antioch. So I think it was probably
That was a busy 30 days.
I don't remember having the sit down conversation with them. Do you?
It was, you told us in the car.
Yeah.
He did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was I there?
Me and your mama getting back together.
Yeah, it literally.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Honey.
it wasn't a sit down.
That was a busy 30 days because I had to tell Alexis' mom we getting back together. I had to tell the girl next door we getting back together.
Who he also invited to the wedding.
Yeah, she came too. I was like, that's crazy. Yes.
To the wedding.
Why would you do that? Would anyone like to speak now? Actually, I like to say something.
Can I say something?
But the fact that she came, that was like, wow.
Yep. He had a lot of doors to close.
Yeah.
Man, I had no idea.
Yes.
And she all congratulated me and everything. I was like, oh, thank you. I know
Did you
she
know
was.
she
No. I mean, we both had guests. I mean, I figured after 5 years, it's going to be some people that he knew that I didn't and vice versa.
Yeah.
So I wasn't thinking he's going to invite his ex.
Not never.
Never.
Yes.
We had a baby come and cut out the whole interview, the whole filming process. Y'all know how that goes. She's been on this show plenty of times before. So, but anyway, I was saying before that and the camera cutting out that we really appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
And we definitely need to continue this out because I have so many more questions to ask. I'm sure over 18 years, there's so many things that you guys experienced. And I would love to hear them just so I can compare them to the few things that have happened in our very short year-long marriage.
All I got to say to y'all is buckle your seatbelt.
Okay.
Lock it in.
But you all are off to a great start. I mean, to be honest, you guys have acquired, I feel like you are much more wiser than we were at y'all's age. You know, just coming into marriage, the way that you all have approached, you know, everything, the decision making, a whole lot of stuff. I don't say much, but I'm very observant. And there's nothing that you all can't do without God and Google. Amen. Amen. Because y'all forever be hollering at Google. Hey, Google. Google. Asking Google everything. We asking Google everything. But yeah, you guys are off to a great start.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Well, we're done?
Yeah, we're going to have to continue this.
Yes.
I definitely want to continue this.
Well, guys, stay tuned for a part 2 of our conversation with my lovely parents, Lekesha and Keith Nord. And we'll see y'all next time.